The 49ers have just lost their first game of the 2024-2025 season in the second week against none other than the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know, there's something about Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores that just have Kyle Shanahan's number. In fact, overall, the 49ers have not won a game in Minnesota in 32 years, but specifically Kyle Shanahan seems to have found his kryptonite when it comes to either Andy Reid and the Chiefs or the Minnesota Vikings, because it seems anytime they play, the number 17 is the number of points that Kyle Shanahan can only score against Brian Flores' defense. And so, if you rewatch the tape, if you watch the game again, Brock Purdy did not have one of his best games. It goes back to the question is, can Brock Purdy actually be the quarterback the 49ers need in the future if he doesn't have all the star power around him? He didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have a great game, which if you don't have a great game, you can't really say that you need $60 million a year. Brock Purdy's numbers, 28 of 36, 319 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, also had a fumble. Now, did he play better than Sam Darnold? It's 50-50. Sam Darnold had 2 touchdowns and an interception, but also had 2 fumbles as well. Sam Darnold was Sam Darnold, but he also should not have played as well as he did. There were some poor defensive decisions, specifically by Jair Brown and George Odom, and honestly, the 49ers scoring only 17 points with their high-power offense and, honestly, playmakers that are paid well above $30 million a year, there is zero reason that they should be scoring less than 30 points a game. You break it down, Jordan Mason was a rock star as a running back, had 20 carries, 100 yards, averaged 5 yards a carry. George Kittle was great, 7 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown, even though he had to go to the locker room, came back and still contributed. Deebo Samuel, that working out during the offseason, shedding some pounds, paid off, 8 catches for 110 yards. He had 2 carries for negative 10 yards, so we probably shouldn't put him back at the running back position, especially without Christian McCaffrey, because he's in the backfield, you're not going to throw anybody off. That's the thing about McCaffrey. McCaffrey's on IR, which is the smart move for the long term, but Kyle Shanahan needs to figure out how to utilize this offense, bring back his wizardry, and figure out how do we keep the 49ers afloat until McCaffrey gets back. You have too many playmakers to only score 17 points, and you can't put Deebo Samuel just at running back. You're going to beat him up before you get to the meaningful games at the end of the year. Now, was this game meaningful? Absolutely. This is an NFC conference game, and these games are important down the stretch when you're trying to figure out seeding. So they're going to need to figure out a way how to make up this loss. They have an important game next week against the Rams that they cannot afford to lose, and the Rams are going to be hungry because they are 0-2. Now, luckily for the 49ers, the Rams are just as banged up as the 49ers are, but you need to show out. There was zero reason for this type of outing. The only 2 players that I could think of, potentially 3, that really showed out, you have Deebo Samuel, Jordan Mason, but none other than Fred Warner, who is making a great case for Defensive Player of the Year, already has 3 forced fumbles on the year, has an interception, has a sack, and he's the one who's been showing the 49ers how to play 49ers football. Nick Sorensen, I don't know what your defense is doing. It seems vanilla. And the question is, are you the man for the job, or is Shanahan just waiting for Robert Saleh to get fired to bring him back next year? So the question is, 49ers, how are you going to respond? Yes, this is just week 2, but it is a conference game, so it's important. But how are you going to respond this week against a divisional opponent against the Rams? You need to take care of business. You're already playing from behind. You're in 3rd place out of 4 teams in your division. The Seahawks are 2-0. They're no joke. The Rams, you know they're going to come out swinging on Sunday. The Cardinals with Kyler Murray seem to be doing well right now. So it's the first half of the first quarter of the season, but the 49ers, you have started off on the wrong foot, and you have a very tough schedule right around weeks 6 through 8, and so you need to figure out what do we need to do to get back on track. Now let's highlight a few other things. Brock Purdy, we talked about him. He seemed lost honestly his ability to be able to make things up on his own. One of the things that's beautiful about Brock Purdy is his ability to go through his progressions. But we saw that there was a lot of pressure on the offensive line. Brock Purdy's one of his powerful things that he can do is improvise, and he makes time with his legs. He did not do that this game. So the question is he injured? Was he overthinking it? Was the time difference, did that get to him? Was he not ready for this game? The question has to be asked, Brock, what are you going to do between now and the Rams, because you know they're going to be swinging. They're going to come out swinging, and you need to have an answer for the Rams because they're going to have an answer for you. You look across the board, Fred Warner played an amazing game. Deebo Samuel played well. Jacob Cowing, you finally got a chance to show out, and what did you do? You fumble the ball. And so it's one of the Kyle Shanahan's things is he doesn't trust rookies, and Jacob Cowing did not prove that anymore. In fact, Kyle Shanahan's going to be more entrenched in that belief that I cannot trust rookies. Dominic Pooney, after the game, said he needs to work on his silent count as an offensive lineman. That's a huge part of the NFL, especially when it comes to playing in hostile environments like in Minnesota, when you get to Seattle. So Dominic Pooney has some growing to do there. Trent Williams seemed out of shape today, got beat a couple times. And so this is a call out to the 49ers offense. Let's get this out the way, look at the film, go on to the Rams, and start playing 49er football. You can't just assume, because we have superstars all over the place, that the team's going to give it to you and that you're going to win. You need to step it up. Fred Warner can't be the only player that is playing the lights out and earning his contract. Everyone needs to contribute and can't say, in Fred Warner's words, my bad. There's too much of that going around. In fact, take a listen to Fred right now.
Too many my bads, too many, man, I'll try to be better next time, and me included. Like, I'm thinking of the plays that I wanted back in this game. Like I said, we got to play more together as a team. We just got to do our job, play smarter football.
You heard it there.
The rest will take care of itself.
There's too much my bad. I'll do better next time. It's time for the 49ers to show up and take care of business. Again, this is one game, but it was a conference game, and it was an important one. You cannot get too far behind with the roster this old. You need that number one seed. In order to get that, you need to take care of the games here, because when it gets down and dirty in your November, December games where you're playing at 70%, everybody's hurt, you're going to look back and say, we should have won that game in week 2. So 49ers, dust it off, wipe the dirt off your pants, and get back into the film room and figure out how are we going to get better and get back on track. Well, that's all we have for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.